You know that feeling when you're physically with someone but your mind is just somewhere else entirely? It's this strange sense of disconnection right when you're supposed to feel the most connected. It happens to so many of us, but we barely talk about it. So let's actually get into it and figure out what's really going on here.
So let me ask you this, and just be honest with yourself for a second. During intimate moments, are you actually in your body, feeling everything? Or does it sometimes feel like you're kind of floating above it all, watching yourself, like you're watching a movie?
Hey, if that question hit home, I really want you to hear this. You are so not alone. This is a real thing. It's so common, in fact, that it actually has a name. It's called spectatoring. And just knowing the name for it, well, that's the very first step to getting back into your own skin.
Right, so spectatoring is really the core of what we can call the performance trap. It's this mindset that completely flips the script on intimacy, turning it from something you share with someone into a solo performance that you feel like you have to ace.
I mean, listen to how perfectly someone in therapy described this feeling. He said, "It's like I'm floating above myself, grading my own performance in real time." You see, it wasn't that he was checked out because he didn't care. It was the opposite. He cared so much about getting it right that he couldn't actually be there to experience it.
So let's just nail this down. Spectatoring is when you mentally step outside of yourself to become both the observer and, let's be honest, the judge of your own performance. Your attention is split. Part of you is trying to be in the moment, while another part of you is standing on the sidelines with a clipboard, taking notes.
Okay, so why is this so hard to just stop, Because spectatoring isn't just a random habit. It's actually one piece of a really powerful, vicious cycle. Let's break down how this whole feedback loop works.
All right, let's trace this thing, because it can happen in a split second. It all starts with a little flicker of anxiety, maybe from a past experience or just a general fear. That anxiety immediately makes you start monitoring yourself. Bam, the spectator shows up. The second your attention shifts from your body up into your head, your natural arousal starts to dip. And here's the science bit. Anxiety triggers your fight or flight response. That's your body's alarm system, and it is the biological opposite of the rest and relax state you need to be in for arousal. So when that arousal drops, your brain logs it as a failure, which just confirms the fear you had in the first place, which makes you even more anxious for next time. And the cycle just spins faster and faster.
And this entire loop, it's powered by something psychologists call cognitive distortions. It's a fancy term, but it basically just means thinking errors. Little tricks our brain plays on us when we're stressed. A huge one here is fortune telling. That's when you predict you're going to fail before you've even begun. That one little thought, oh, this is not going to go well, is all it takes to kick off that whole downward spiral.
So, the big question, how do we escape this trap? Well, the answer isn't to try harder to perform better. No way. The solution is a huge, fundamental shift in your entire mindset, a shift from performance to presence. I mean, just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got the performance mindset. It's all about judging, having a goal, anxiously checking in on yourself. It keeps you completely stuck in your head. But then look at the other side, the presence mindset. This is about sensation, about the experience itself, about a gentle awareness. It's all about getting back into your body. That is the shift we're aiming for.
And thankfully, there is a proven, well-researched technique for making this exact shift. For decades, it's been the gold standard in therapy for this issue. It's called sensate focus.
So, sensate focus was actually developed way back in the day by the pioneering researchers Masters and Johnson. It's essentially a series of exercises that are all about mindful, and this is the key word, pressure-free touch. The entire point is to take performance completely off the table, which lowers anxiety and lets you and your partner just connect again.
And I need to be absolutely crystal clear about this. The goal of these exercises is not performance. It's not about achieving an orgasm. It's not about getting anything right. The real goal here is to rebuild the foundation, trust, relaxation, and just a simple awareness of what you're feeling, with zero judgment.
So what does this actually look like? How do you do it? Let's get into the practical side of things because mindful touch is really the heart and soul of sensate focus.
It all starts with 3 really important ground rules. First, you and your partner actually sit down and talk about your comfort zones. What kind of touch feels safe, what feels kind of neutral, and what might make you feel a little anxious. Second, you both commit to communicating openly and setting clear boundaries before you start. And third, you both agree to just move slowly and stay in the moment. If your mind wanders off to your to-do list, you just gently guide it back to the feeling of touch.
Okay, to make this super concrete, here's a really simple, totally non-threatening exercise you can start with. You and your partner just sit facing each other, and you put your hands together, palm to palm. And then you just slowly explore. Notice the texture of their skin, the temperature, the shape of their fingers. There is no goal. The only job you have is to notice the physical sensations. And you see what happens there? When there's nothing to pass or fail, that spectator in your head has literally nothing to grade.
And when you practice these kinds of things over time, it does way more than just help you in one moment. It actually starts to rebuild the entire foundation of trust and connection in your relationship. And the benefits here, they're huge. Obviously, you're going to see that performance anxiety go way down. But it's a ripple effect. Your communication gets better. Physical sensations actually start to feel more intense and pleasurable. Your confidence grows, and all of that, together, builds a much, much deeper emotional bond.
Now look, it's really important to say that this is a journey. It's not some magic bullet. It is totally normal for difficult feelings or even just awkwardness to come up when you start doing this. That is part of the process. And if it feels like too much to handle on your own, that's what professional sex therapists are for. They can provide a safe, supportive space to guide you through it all.
So I'll just leave you with this one final thought to kind of chew on. What if we just completely reframed the whole thing? What if intimacy wasn't a test you had to pass, but was just an experience you get to share?